This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the New Orleans Investment Conference 2016. With me is Brent Cook, a familiar face on SNN Live from Exploration Insights. He's a speaker at the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Cook, welcome back to SNN Live.
Always good to see you, especially in New Orleans.
It's good to see you too. Let's get started. What are you speaking about at this conference?
Well, I do my usual, I like to help retail investors learn to interpret data, interpret news for their own investment. So I went through a lot of geology, but this is the second year in a row I've come to New Orleans with a positive message. The previous 4 or 5, 6, actually it's been rather negative. And I think what we're seeing now is we've seen a pullback in the metals markets, the metal prices, gold in particular, and the stocks have followed that down. I see just kind of flat to a bit down through year end. And once the elections are out of the way and the Fed does what they're going to do, which I suspect is raise rates, we can all get back to watching the Kardashians, and I think metal prices go higher.
In that order, I'm sure. So where is the market right now? If you gave me, let's talk about the exploration companies, which is really your forte.
Yep. They peaked in August, the GDXJ, which is what I follow for the junior miners. It's dropped back through the past until last week, and it started to pick up a bit. But I think we're going to see range bound, which is great. I think now is the time to start acquiring the legitimate exploration companies, the ones that have resources or discoveries, because bottom line, and I've said this for years now, we are not finding enough new deposits to replace what's being mined. Gold production is starting to drop off a cliff. Discoveries aren't coming in. And so new deposits that make money are going to be extremely valuable. So we want to own those companies. And so that's really my focus. And now is the time to start doing it before the market wakes up again next year.
Well, these companies that are out there exploring right now, they took advantage of that bounce up, did some funding, put some cash in the bank so they could do some drilling. Am I right?
To a large degree, yeah. Although I just, part of my presentation, I went through all the financings up till last week, and there were 750 of those. The average finance raising was 1.1 million. The median was $500,000. So the majority of money that has been raised is not enough to do much work. So there's
it's money to keep the lights on.
It is. It's money from mom so you can keep living in the basement. Most of these guys. But there is some activity going on, and I think we will be seeing some discoveries evolve this year, and especially going into next year. And that's where we want to be.
So, who's got a discovery?
Right. Well, that's what we do in Exploration Insights. And one of the stocks we own, and I own personally, is Mariana Resources. They've got a discovery in Turkey. They put out a drill hole yesterday that was just a boomer, probably the best I've ever seen, or one of. It was 65 meters of about 63 grams gold, 2.3% copper. That equates to about $2,900 a ton rock. Just phenomenal. And this is what I was saying previously, is now is the time to start picking these up, because they put out that news and the stock went from $1.07 to $1.09. Mm-hmm. So this is good. This is what we're looking for. This is what we like.
And nobody really knows about it.
Right. Nobody knows about it. They don't know how to interpret the data. I've been there once when they first found it. Joe was there last like 3 months ago, Joe Mazumdar. And this is legitimate. It's real, and it's going to be one of the best deposits out there.
You know what I'm hearing more and more in some of the interviews, for instance, with companies here? They're coming to me from districts that aren't British Columbia, that isn't the Yukon. It's not even South America. I mean, what is that a trend?
To some degree. The low-hanging fruit has been picked up in most of the known countries, but certainly you go to some place like Turkey, which has got a lot of potential still there, West Africa, Serbia, for instance. One of the biggest discoveries the big buyouts we had earlier this year was Reservoir Minerals, which we'd owned for a long time based on a discovery they made in Serbia. So you do have to get off the beaten path generally to find these really important discoveries.
How do you see the price of gold? Where are things headed in the market as far as you can see?
My view, and it's just my view, it's not what I really do, but I don't see anything that's going to make gold prices or metal prices go up much this year. But again, like I say, once the elections are over, the Fed does what they're going to do, my view is the reality is going to come to the fore again that we don't have enough new deposits to replace what's being mined, and that's going to, in part, drive the gold price up, as well as all the problems that we're ignoring right now through this election cycle. They're not going away; they're still here, and so the fundamental reason for gold going up hasn't really changed.
What about silver?
Silver is sort of tied to gold. I don't spend a lot of time on it. In my view, silver is, what do they call it, the poor man's gold. I like being rich.
You stay with gold.
I like gold, yeah.
So, once the new year comes, do you think the funding for junior exploration companies should pick up also?
I think so. I think as with the rise in the gold price and the new year starting, we'll see funding come in as well, for sure.
And what about some of these companies that are, I see a lot of transition from exploration to development. Some of the companies that maybe over the last 5 years had just been doing a few drill programs, now they've really taken off and they've done some development. And I'm beginning to hear some M&A talk in the background.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, we've had 5 of our companies in the portfolio taken over this year, and we bought them specifically for that reason. Unfortunately, most of the good projects, good deposits have been acquired, and we're looking at the mediocre ones now. So that goes back to my theme again. You've got to own the discoveries.
Tell us a little bit about Exploration Insights.
Sure. The letter is about what I do with my money in this sector. I'm an economic geologist. We've got Joe Mazumder, who is also an economic geologist, and we publish it once a week. We only make money from subscriptions and what we make off our investments. No one pays us to say anything. We have been offered money to not say something, but we don't do that either. So it's really, that's what it's about. And we look at it from what makes money, turning rocks into money. That's what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a website for you for more information and to find out more about Exploration Insights, the newsletter.
ExplorationInsights.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Cook, Exploration Insights, and he's a speaker at this conference. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNN Live, and we're coming to you live from the New Orleans Investment Conference 2016.